India's manufacturing revolution is accelerating. Hi, I am Ajay Modi, Investment Director at Piper Serica. We partner with global investors and family offices to help them with high growth investment opportunities within India's dynamic economy. India's rise as a global manufacturing hub is no longer just a projection, it's a reality in motion. Among the sectors driving this transformation is electronics manufacturing services, or EMS, and this sector stands out as one of the most compelling growth opportunities in India today. Let's unpack why EMS is becoming a structural megatrend both for Indian economy and investors. We believe that a strong multiplier effect is unfolding in this sector, and I'll tell you why. First, India's per capita electronic consumption is increasing. Second, a significant shift is happening from in-house manufacturing or imports to outsourced electronic manufacturing service providers. This is creating compounding opportunities not just in assembly, but across the value chain. Let me give you some quick facts. India's per capita electronic spend is just $78 today. That is 6 times lower than Europe's $521 and 4 times lower than the global average of $324. This gap is a big opportunity. India's consumer electronics market has already doubled since 2020, surging from $80 billion to $165 billion today. And this is only accelerating further. By 2030, we project a $350 billion market, which is a compounded growth rate of more than 25%. But beyond this, here's the real inflection point. Back in 2020, imported electronics dominated India. Outsourced manufacturing captured just 16% of the total pie, which is just about $13 billion, a small niche. Today, the same 16% has grown to 28%, almost $44 billion. And our on-ground research shows that EMS is now a mega trend. By 2030, 37% of all India's electronics will be manufactured through EMS. This is a $130 billion market opportunity, growing at a 60% compounded rate already. The catalyst, beyond scale, EMS companies are climbing the value chain. From assembly to designing, critical component manufacturing for mission critical industries like aerospace, healthcare, industry 4.0, and more. Margins are also expanding faster with growth in volumes. Let me also give you a quick insight into the value chain of EMS companies. It can simply be broken into 4 parts: design, development, assembly, and after sales. After sales is a little story. Let's talk about design, development, and assembly. While design and development are low volume, high margin businesses, assembly is a high volume, low margin opportunity. The right way is to create a portfolio, thereby building a right mix. India's EMS sector is rapidly climbing the value chain, as I said before. Component manufacturing, where local sourcing is projected to jump from 18% to 45% by 2030. That's again a massive $100 billion opportunity. When China became the world's factory, early investors captured generational wealth. Today, India's electronic manufacturing revolution presents that same inflection point, with one critical difference: unprecedented government fuel. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. 3 structural accelerators are compressing a long industrial evolution into a decade. First, historic capital injection by the government. The Indian government has already injected $17.5 billion in production-linked incentives, a scheme started by the government of India to incentivize electronic manufacturing in India. Second, infrastructure revolution. There are already 22 new electronic manufacturing clusters created with plug-and-play factories, smart supply chain, and very streamlined hiring and labor force. Third, investment floodgates, not just from the government, but global investors. Indian government has allowed 100% FDI via automatic route in EMS. This has already attracted $165 billion of capital and created almost 2.5 million high-skilled jobs. Why this timing matters, or why is it important to talk about EMS today? Because of some core reasons. First, labor arbitrage. India's labor costs are almost 40% lower than China. Second, a massive growing domestic demand. The domestic electronic market, as I said before, is expected to grow more than 25% compounded rate over the next 5 years. And lastly, an export explosion. EMS companies are exporting more and more today, and this export is only expected to grow. In the next 5 years, EMS companies are expected to export almost 28% of all produce that they do in India. We are now getting at a sweet spot where high volume assembly funds high margin component revolution. And at Piper Serica, we call this at India's automobile 2.0 moment. I'll tell you why. In 1980s, in India, almost 92% of all cars running on Indian roads were imported. Then came the game changer. Complete knockdown kits became assembly lines, and assembly lines gave birth to component empires. Where we are today, India's automobile industry is almost $200 billion automotive powerhouse with homegrown brands like Tatas and Mahindras and homegrown component companies like Motherson Sumi, Minda Group, etc. So this isn't a speculation. It is India's proven industrial playbook compressed into 7-8 explosive years. You miss phase 1, you will chase the rally. You miss phase 2, you miss the generational wealth creation opportunity. So this was an insight into what is happening in electronic manufacturing, where, to summarize, a lot of things are coming together: explosive domestic demand, outsourcing of manufacturing, substitution of imports, strong capital allocation by the government, and a mega revolution in terms of backward integration, increasing profitability, and all of this at a massive scale of almost over $200 billion. In our next video, we'll share insights about a few companies who are playing a pivotal role in this industry and why they present a compelling investment opportunity. About us, Piper Serica is a premier gateway for global high net worth individuals and family offices accessing India's high growth frontier. Through our dedicated fund, we deliver results via deep on-ground research, systematic risk management, and a long-term ownership discipline that minimizes churn. To capitalize on this strategy, to know more about opportunities in India, please connect with us on the emails or the website links below. Thank you and stay tuned for our next video.